Okay guys, so welcome sa ating YouTube channel. Ito na yung lesson 35 sa ating complex analysis. So ito yung 4 rules and residues at poles. So kung naalala nakaraan, ang ginagawa natin para makuha natin yung residue, so ini-express natin siya into a Lorentz series. Tapos hinahanap natin yung coefficient ng 1 over z minus z naught raised to 1. So kung naalala nyo, yun yung ginagawa ko. Ano yung coefficient na therefore yun yung residue. Tapos yun na-apply natin sa loob. So ina-apply natin sa Cauchy residue theorem para masolve natin yung integral. Okay, so ngayon, pag-usapan natin sa video na to is yung paano naman natin hanapin mismo. So kunyari, given lang yung isang function, paano natin nahanapin yung residue niya. So in a very easiest, in a easiest way. Okay, so we have two things, or meron tayong dalawang method. So actually almost si 4 rules parang nakapaloob din, si residues at poles parang nakapaloob din kay 4 rules. Okay, pero sana wag kayo malito later on. So again, sasabihin ko naman kung gagamitin mo yung 4 rules or residues at poles. So yun, may apple. Okay, so we have 4 rules. So number 1, so ito pala, ang mga pag-uusapan natin dito is a function having kunyari a function having ganito. So yung mga f of z, so sa number 1 and 2, yung pag-uusapan natin sa number 1 and 2 is yung mga function na f of z is equal to something over z minus z naught. Okay, so pag may nakita ang z minus 3, z plus 3, tas naka-raise sa something, yan yung mga pag-uusapan natin dyan. Okay, so tandaan yung bagay na yan. Okay, then so sabi nga no, f of z has a simple pole. So dapat malaman nyo rin ano ba yung simple pole. So si simple pole, pag siya ay yung f of z, that is something over z minus z naught, tapos yung exponent niya is naka-raise sa 1 lang. Simple pole yon. Double pole siya pag naka-raise sa 2. Okay, tandaan na ulit, double pole siya pag naka-raise sa 2. So ito, simple pole dito sa z naught, tapos pag naka-raise siya, kunyari naka-raise naman sa z minus z naught, naka-raise sa 2, double pole yun. Automatic. Okay, so yun yung mga i-examine natin mamaya. Next, number 3, if wala dito sa dalawa, yung ating isa-solve, kunyari hindi ganun yung form, tapos nakita mo siya is something na quotient pa rin siya, tapos anong nangyari, pwede mo i-identify as f of z and g of z yung ilalim. Okay, so therefore, ang pwede natin gawin, yung residue na is equal to f of z over gc at z naught. So, ibig sabihin pala by the way neto, ng residue na to, yung ganitong symbol. So, if we have residue ng f of z at z naught, okay, that is only equivalent lang sa dati natin. This is the residue at z is equal to z naught nung f of z. Okay, equivalent lang yan. So, bakit ito yung ginamit ko notation? Ginamit ko itong notation since ang gagawin na natin is recta substitute lang siya applying the formula. Dito kasi ang ginagawa, i-represent natin siya as Lorentz series. Kaya ganito yung kanyang representation. Pero, they are the same lang naman. Okay, so, again, yung number 3, pag siya ay nailagay natin, or sorry, hindi ko pa nasabi 1, no? So sabi niya, yung f of z has a simple pole. So kunyari na-observe mo siya ay simple pole, then yung residue of f of z at z naught is equal to the limit of z minus z naught of f of z at c approaches z naught. So ganoon lang simple, kunin mo lang yung limit na yan. Okay, next, f of z has a double pole. So yun nga, pag nalaman mo double pole siya, therefore sabi mo, ang gagawin mo lang, yung residue na f of z at z naught is equal to limit as z approaches to z naught ng derivative with respect sa z ng z minus z naught squared f of z. So meaning, i-differentiate ko muna to bago ko kunin yung limit. Tandaan, i-differentiate ko muna bago ko kunin yung limit. Then number 3, f of z over g of c, then residue of f of z over g of c. So ito naman sinasabi ko, no, kung kaya mo siyang, kung hindi siya pasok doon sa criteria ng 1, 2, and 4, dito siya. So kung basta nakita mong quotient siya ng dalawang analytic function, okay, so or complex function, then the residue of f of z over g of c at z naught is just equal sa f of z naught over g prime of z naught. So meaning, ang kukunin ko yung derivative nung denominator, tapos evaluate ko lang siya at z naught. Kaya lang gagawin. Next, number 4, g of z has a simple 0. So ano naman ibig sabihin nito? Ito yung mga function na hindi naka-over, yung walang z minus z naught. So meaning, ito yung mga function na hindi siya rational function. Okay, sa rational function, meron siyang denominator. So, ito yung mga function na walang denominator, tapos walang involved na mga variable sa denominator. Okay, so tandaan yung aking mga sinabi dyan. Okay, then again na parehas lang to. So, baka kasi malito kayo dyan. So, now we have example, tapos in-indicate ko na yung mga z-naught. Okay, so para makita nyo rin ano yung gagamitin kong rule. Okay, so let's have example number 1. So we have g of z is equal to z squared plus 1 at z0 is equal to I. So kunin mo daw. So obviously, si I ay simple 0. So sir, bakit mo po nasabi na siya ay simple 0? Kasi yung function natin, walang over. Okay, tandaan na, wala siyang over. So obviously, hindi porket na-represent ko sa g of z, simple 0 siya automatic ha. Hindi porket g of z simple 0 ha. So kunwari 1 over g minus z0 siya, hindi siya simple 0. So again, yung z0 na yan, yung z0 na ay natin is simple 0. Bakit? Kasi meron tayong ganito, yung z squared plus 1, pag inequate ko sa 0, that is simply equal sa z squared is equal to negative 1. Then pag ginawa ko yung square root, that is z squared is pag kinuha ko square root, that is square root ng negative 1, which is equal to z is equal to I. So, obviously, siya yun. Okay, so siya ay simple 0. Bakit? Kasi nga, yung equation niya, ganyan lang. Okay, so siya ay simple 0. So, since simple 0 siya, gagamitin natin si rule 4. Another simple 0. So, for example, f of z is equal to z plus 3. Okay, obviously, ang z dito is negative 3. So, simple 0 ulit yan. Okay, so again, yan yung mga function or mga complex function na hindi siya, na walang nag-involved na function sa ilalim niya or sa denominator niya. Okay, so obvious tayo dyan. Okay, so obviously, anong rule yung gagamitin natin? So, ito ay by rule number 4. Okay, so by number 4, ay ko na lang, by number 4, we have, ano sabi niya? Kung siya ay simple 0, so si I is a simple 0. Okay, then yung residue ng 1 over g of z, z0 is equal to 1 over g prime of z. So, rewrite lang natin yun. So, this is just residue. Okay, residue ng z squared o 1 over, this is 1 over z squared plus 1, I. So, again, yan. Okay, and that is only equal lang sa 1 over g prime of z0. So, for the meantime, kunin ko muna yung derivative nito. Okay, so kunin natin yung derivative ng z squared. So, note, kunin natin yung derivative ng z squared plus 1. And that is just equal sa 2z. Okay, with respect sa z, hindi lang differential siya. Okay, so meaning that is 2z. So, this is simply over, this is simply 1 over g prime of z0. So, this is just 1 over 2z, tapos ipapalit natin z0 is equal to I. So therefore, this is just equal sa 1 over 2i. Okay, then just simplify lang siya. Multiply ko lang by I both side kasi ayaw natin ng I sa ilalim. Okay, so therefore, this is equal sa I over negative 2. Okay, so again, ba't nag-multiply na I? Gusto ko i-conjugate ko lang siya or gusto ko lang tanggalin yung I sa ilalim. So parang, rationalize ba tawag? I don't know. Nakalimutan ko na yung term. Okay, so ganun yung criteria. So pag simple 0 siya, automatic yun yung gagamitin mo, yung rule number 4. Pag gusto mong hanapin yung residue niya. Okay, ngayon, ito yung maaaring tanong. Sir, paano po kung yung function, let's say po sir, yung function po is for example si h of z. Sir, si h of z po is ganito. Z minus 1 tapos z plus 2. Okay, ano po yung residue niya? Ang residue, by the way, kinukuha mo yung residue at specific point at specific singularity. So, by the way, singularity siyan si I. Ang tawag lang, ang special type lang na tawag sa kanya is simple 0. So, singularities pa rin naman siya. Okay, so, ang mangyayari is something na, singularities pala is something na magkikreate na yung function is parang undefined. Tama? So, again, siya ay just simple 0. So, para siya parang zeros lang siya ng ating function. So, again, kunyari ganito, na ito nangyari kinuha ko yung residue ng g of z at I. Ngayon, kung gato yung given, pipili ka lang sa dalawa. So, for example, kukunin ko yung residue at 1 or kukunin ko yung residue at negative 2. So, magkaiba yung residue niya pag sa negative 1, sa 1, tapos iba yung residue niya pag sa negative 2. So, hindi nangangulugan na i-add ko yung dalawang residue. Sir, kailan namin i-add yung mga residue? I-add mo lang yun pag sa Cauchy residue theorem. Sabi kasi ni Cauchy residue theorem, so kung gusto kong kunin yung integral, add mo yung mga residue. Kung ilan yung singularities niya, doon ko, tapos kukunin, ganun karami ating residues. So, i-add ko yun. Dito, hindi mo kailangan i-add. Kung ano lang yung pinapakuha ko, yun lang yung kukunin mo. Okay, so, for example, ito nga, ito number 2. Okay, so number 2, dalawa yung possible zeros na ito. Okay, yung dalawang singularities niya, kasi dito mag-undefine siya sa 3, tapos isa, 0. So, dalawa yung possible singularities niya. So, meaning, sa dalawang singularities na yun, i-identify mo ano yung residue. Pero ang sabi, at z naught is equal to 3 lang. So meaning, kukunin ko lang yung residue niya pag yung z naught is equal to 3. Okay, next, natanong ko, ano ang gagawin natin pag ganyan? Yung given natin. Sir, pwede ko po ba siyang i-classify as simple zero or simple pole or double pole? Sabi ko kasi dapat may z minus z naught. Ito ang sagot diyan. Hindi. Sir, bakit? Kasi pag sinabi kong simple zero and double zero, ang ilalim lang niya or ang denominator lang niya is z minus z naught saka z minus z naught raised sa 2. Okay, so wala nang kasamang iba. So meaning, isa lang yung singularities niya sa ilalim. O isa lang yung parang isang linear factor lang sa ilalim na naka-raise lang sa n. Okay, so meaning, siya kasi dalawa. So, ibig sabihin, dito, ito possible isa. Okay, isa dito yung ating isa dito yung z minus z naught, kasi ito hindi naman z minus z naught yan, so wala tayong pakialam diyan. Okay, then ito naman yung z minus 2. So dito pasok yung dalawa, yung simple pole tapos double pole. Dito pasok siya sa number 3. So i-identify natin as f yung taas tapos g yung ilalim. Ganun yung mangyari. Again, kasi dito pwedeng dalawa eh. So dito kasi dalawa yung parang pole niya eh. So kumbaga, pwede ko sabihin pole C 3, pole C 0. Okay, gano'n kasi yung mangyari dyan. So, pag gano'n, automatic dun tayo sa number 3 dyan. Okay, so proceed tayo dun. So, ito ay rule number 3. Tandaan na, rule number 3. This is rule number 3. So, the residue, sa ibang ballpen gamitin ni sir, try ko lang. So, the residue ng cosine z over z minus 3 tapos z cube comma 3. Okay, is just equal sa f of z naught. Okay, so f of z naught and g prime of z naught. So kailangan natin yung g prime of z naught. So kunin natin yung derivative nung ilalim. So importante kunin yung derivative ng so kunin ko lang dito, importante kunin yung derivative with respect sa z ng z minus 3 tapos z cube. Okay, so obviously that is by product rule. Tama? So by product rule, ito ay equal lang sa z minus 3 tapos 3z squared. So yun yung una. Then plus z cube times derivative ng z minus 3 is 1. Okay, therefore ang sagot dito is 3 z squared tapos z minus 3 plus z cube. Okay, so ganun yung gagawin natin dyan sa ilalim. Okay, so next is next na gagawin ni sir is just kukunin ko yung f of z naught. So meaning kukunin ko sa taas f of z naught. So cosine 3. So sa taas is cosine 3. Okay, then sa ilalim papalit ko dito si 3. Okay, so pag pinalit ko si 3, so this is just 3z squared. So 3 times 3 squared, kasi 3z squared, so z minus 3, so that is 3 minus 3. Okay, then plus z cube, so that is 3 cube. Okay, then this is equal sa cosine 3 over Automatic ito 0 kasi 3 minus 3 is 0. So 3 is 0 yun. So that is 3 cube, this is 27. Okay, so I think pwede na yan, sagot na yan. Huwag natin masyadong simplify pa. Okay, so no need to evaluate cosine 3. Hayaan mo na yan. Okay, so ganyan naman yung kanyang residue. So yung residue na is something na ganyan. So sir, constant yan? Yes, constant yan. Cosine 3 is constant. So something decimal yan, napakaliit. Okay, next is for number 3. We have e raised to z, then z plus 3 squared cosine z at z naught is equal to negative 3. So obvious naman ayun yung z naught niya o yung kanyang singularities. Okay, so meaning automatic ito ay pasok sa ating double pole. So rule number 2. Sir, bakit? Kasi naka-squared. Okay, so automatic siya ay double pole. So meaning ito ay double pole. Si negative 3 is double pole. So bakit siya double pole? Since si z plus 3 ay naka-raise sa 2. Kaya double pole siya. Okay, so nari naka-raise sa 3, dun mo ipapasok dun sa number 2 na lang yun, automatic. Naka-raise sa 4, ipapasok mo lang sa number 4. Or pasok tayo dun sa isa, sa residues at pole. So dun papasok yung ibang degree niya, yung angat. Okay, so dito ano yung rule number 2? So medyo mahaba si rule number 2, no? Sabi ng rule number 2, yung residue ng f of z at z naught is the limit at z approaches z naught ng derivative with respect sa z ng z minus z naught squared f of z. Okay, so try natin solve yan. So hoping na magkasya. This is residue ng e raised to z, then is z plus 3 squared cosine z, comma negative 3. Okay, so lagay ko yung solution, that is the limit at z approaches negative 3, tama, then the derivative with respect sa z ng, sabi, z minus z naught. Okay, so z minus negative 3 is z plus 3. So lalagay ko lang dito si z plus 3. So this is z plus 3 raised sa 2. Tapos f of z, ilalagay ko yung mismong f of z. So si f of z is just si e raised to z, okay, over z plus 3 squared tapos cosine z. So kung napansin mo, parang tinutulungan din talaga tayo nito. Literal. So sir, bakit? Kasi mangyari makakancel lang to. Okay, so ayun yung purpose bakit may squared siya. So at least madali siya. Next is kunin natin syempre yung derivative nung nasa loob, nung e raised to z tas cosine z. Tama? So next na gagawin natin is kunin natin yung limit. So this is the limit. As z approaches negative 3 ng derivative with respect sa z ng e raised to z over cosine z. Okay, so try natin kunin derivative, that is by quotient rule, no? That is bdu minus udb over b squared. So bdu, so this is just equals sa limit as z approaches negative 3 ng bdu, so this is cosine z, tas derivative ng e raised to c is e raised to z lang din, minus e raised to c, derivative ng cosine is sine, tama, so this is just sine, tapos all over cosine squared z. Okay, then saka natin evaluate yung kanyang limit. Okay, so pag in-evaluate yung limit, wala naman tayo makakancel literal, no? Mapaktor lang natin yung e raised to z, pero almost wala siyang impact dyan. So mangyari lang, isa-substitute lang natin. So ang answer lang is just cosine negative 3 e raised to negative 3 minus e raised to negative 3 tapos sine negative 3 all over cosine squared negative 3. So wala na tayo simplify dyan, medyo complicated na siya. Okay, wala naman kayang cancelin, so okay na yan, sagot na yan. Okay, so this is rule number 2 by the way. So pa-reverse yung process na ginawa ni sir. Okay, lastly, syempre, this is just a simple pole. So automatic, ano yung singularities natin dito? Ano yung z naught natin dito? Ang z naught natin dito, so hindi ko na kasi nalagay, ang z naught natin dito is automatic C2. Kasi dun siya mag-0. Okay? So automatic siya is simple pole. Bakit? Z minus 2 is raised sa 1. So this is simple pole. Okay, so tandaan yan. Okay, so by rule number 1, ito yung napakasimple. This is the residue ng f of z. So this is cosine z all over z minus 2, comma 2. Which is equal sa limit lang. This is limit as z approaches 2 ng z minus z naught. So this is z minus 2. Tapos f of z. F of z is cosine z over z minus 2. So, ganun ulit nakakancel siya. Ayun ang kinadali ni rule number 1 sa akin ni rule number 4. Kusang nakakancel yung ating z minus z naught. Okay, so kung ba pinapadali ni ating solution. So, next is kunin natin yung limit yan. So, apply lang natin limit sa cosine. So, that is simply cosine 2. So, therefore, ito yung kanyang sagot. Okay, so ganun siya kasimple dyan. So, next is punta tayo dun sa isang method natin. Yun yung tinatawag na residues at pole. So, yun naman, pasok din dun si simple pole, si double pole. Kaso doon naman tawag order. Okay, so si simple pole order 1, si double pole order 3. Okay, kukunin mo pa rin residue pero papangalanan mo yung mga residue, yung mga singularities niya, yung mga tama, yung singularities niya kasi nasa ilalim eh. So, yung mga singularities niya is pole. Kunwari, pole of order 4, tapos yung kanyang singularities is ganito, o yung kanyang residue is ganito. Okay? Okay, so this is the residues at poles. So, an isolated singular points z naught. So, automatic ito yung mga z minus z naught sa ilalim since ay isolated singular point siya. Of a function f is a pole of order m if and only if f of z can be written as f of z is equal to p function of z over z minus z naught raised to m. Okay, so naka-raise siya sa m. So, yung z minus z naught sa ilalim, naka-raise to m. Tapos, wala na tayong pakialam sa mga nakaduktong sa kanya. I-identify na natin siya as p of z. So, yung mga technique dito, identify mo yung p of z, identify mo yung m. Okay, so again, ang technique lang dito, so, yung napakasimpleng guide lang gagawin, identify. So, you need to identify, syempre yung singularities, yung z naught. Sunod yung p of z. Tapos yung m. Ayun lang. So, note na kunyari m is 1, that is order 1. Okay, then m is 2, order 2. So, may formula tayo para sa order 1, may formula tayo para sa order 2 or greater than 2. Okay, so sabi niya, for m is equal to 1, the residue of f of z at z naught is just equal sa p of z naught. So, meaning, pag nahanap mo lang yung p of z, substitute ko lang yung z naught. Ganun ang kabilis. Okay, so parang ganun lang din. So parang limit lang din siya. So kung napapansin mo, parang katulad din dito ni rule number 1. Kay rule number 1, pinagkaiba, limit lang. Kinuha yung limit. Okay, so almost the same sila. So next is, for greater than equal to 2, that is the residue, f of z minus z naught, that is equal sa p of m minus 1 z naught. So m minus 1 is the derivative. So meaning, for example, 3 siya, that is second derivative. Dalawang beses mo i-derivative or di-differentiate, tapos substitute mo yung z naught over m minus 1 factorial. Okay, so kaya ako pinapa-identify si m. Tapos kung ano m siya, kunwari 3 siya, automatic siya ay order 3. Okay, so dito naman ang gagawin ko, hindi ako magbibigay ng singularities. So meaning, identify natin singularities. So pinaka best way is pakita natin syempre yung dalawang singularities na yun. Okay, so for number 1, okay, we have z plus 1 over z squared plus 9. So para ma-identify natin yung singularities, consider mo si z squared plus 9. Z squared plus 9 is equal to 0. That is simply z squared is equal to negative 3. Okay, and that is simply equal sa square root ng negative 3. Okay, so ano yung square root ng negative 3 na yan? Ang square root ng negative 3 na yan, 9. Oh, so this is negative 9. Okay, yung square root ng negative 9 na yan is just z is equal to positive and negative 3i. Okay, so kung napapansin mo, dalawa yung kanyang singularities. Kay 3i tapos kay i. So, meaning, dalawa yung kunin natin na residue para makita nyo rin. So, dalawa yung kunin natin na residue tapos ipakita natin siya. So, una natin na gagawin, diba ito yung f of z, si z plus 1 over, ipapactor ko to, diba z squared plus 9, ang possible factor niya kasi positive and negative 3i, ang possible factor niya is z minus 3i tapos z plus 3i. So ayun yung function natin. Okay, so ito yung talaga yung original na function natin. Okay, next is siyempre, kunyari, kukunin ko yung residue niya at 3i. So, kunyari yung Z0 ko, kunin ko yung una. So, for example, ang ginamit kong Z0 is equal to 3i. Okay, pag ginamit ko yung Z0 na equal to 3i, ano yung M? So, that is Z minus 3i, ano yung M niya? That is naka-raise sa 1. Okay, so automatic that is M is equal to 1. So, ito yun ito yung merong Z minus 3i. Okay, so ngayon, ano yung P of Z? Ang P of Z niya is yung Z plus 1 over Z plus 3i. Okay, then since siya ay pole, si 3i is pole of order 1. Tandaan na, si 3i is pole of order 1. So, gagamitin natin yung formula na for M is equal to 1, the residue of F of Z is, the residue of F of Z, Z naught is equal to P of Z naught lang. Okay, so meaning, ang gagawin lang natin, the residue, ito lang, the residue ng Z plus 1 over Z squared plus 9, 3i is just equal sa P of Z. Just equal sa P of Z naught. What is Z naught? That is 3i. Okay, where 3i natin, or yung P of Z naught natin is just equal sa, this is just 3i plus 1 over Z plus 3i. So, this is 3i plus 3i. Or simply, this is equal sa 1 plus 3i over 6i. Okay, so, I think, next is multiply na natin by i. So, pag multiply by i over i, so, mangyari, yung 1 yung magkakaroon ng i, ito magiging negative 3. Negative 3. Okay, so this is just equal sa 1. So, i minus 3. Okay, over 6. Negative 6. So, ayan yung value niya. So, again, si 3i is pole of order 1. Or siya ay simple pole. Okay, next solution. Next solution, kunin natin si Z0 as negative 3i. So, si Z0 is negative 3i. Obvious naman yung M pa rin natin is 1. Pero magbabago yung ating P of Z. Ang P of Z natin kanina, yung Z plus 3i. Z plus 1 over Z plus 3i. Since Z plus 3i na yung ang ating singularity something, so ang P of Z natin iba na dito. So, ang P of Z natin is Z plus 1 over Z minus 3i. Okay, then similar solution lang din. So, obviously, this is just P of 3i. So, this is just P of negative 3i para makuha natin yung residue. So, ganito yung residue. So, P of negative 3i, this is just equal sa negative 3i plus 1 over negative 3i minus negative 3i, which is equal sa negative 3i plus 1 over negative 6i. Multiplied by i both side. Okay, so obviously magiging positive yun. Magiging positive yun kasi negative siya. So, this is equal lang sa 3 plus i over, ito positive din, this is 6. So, ito naman yung residue niya pag ginamit ko si negative 3i. So, kung napansin mo, iba yung residue niya pag ginamit ko yung isang singularity sa isang singularity. Sir, paano pag integral lang kinuha? Ganito nangyari. Pag kinuha mo yung integral, ang gagawin mo lang, 2 pi i tapos times yung sum nitong dalawa. Ganun yung mangyari. Kung kinuha ko yung integral niyan, pag kinuha ko yung integral, that is 2 pi i times the sum nitong dalawa. Tapos ayun yung kanyang magiging sagot. Okay, no integral niya. Pero since pinapakuha lang is residue, ayun lang yung gagawin natin. Okay, so next example. So ito, isa na lang yung ating Z0. So again, identify ulit natin ano yung Z0 natin dito. So yung Z0 natin dito is just I. Kasi siya si singularities natin eh. Okay? So obviously, yung M natin is 3. So siya ay pole of order 3. Tama? Si I is pole of order 3 kasi yung M natin is 3. Okay, next, ano yung gagamitin na, ano yung P of Z natin dito? Ang P of Z natin dito, syempre obviously, nasa taas lang. That is Z cube plus 2Z. Okay, ngayon, pag kinuha yung formula, ano yung formula niyan? Ang formula is residue of F of Z, Z naught is M minus 1 derivative of P of Z, Z naught over M minus 1. Okay, so mangyari, this is the residue. So the residue ng function natin, which is z cube plus 2z over z minus I raised to 3, comma, I is just equal sa P. So, this is P of M, that is 3 minus 1 of Z naught. Ano yung Z naught natin? Z naught natin is I over 3 minus 1 factorial. Okay, so before natin evaluate yan, syempre, kailangan natin kunin yung third derivative, second derivative, kasi P dalawa yun P raised to 2, so second derivative. So, kunin ko yung first derivative nito, P prime of Z is equal to 3Z squared plus 2. Then, P prime of Z, P double prime of Z is just equal sa 6Z. Okay, so meaning, sa substitute lang natin dito, this is just equal lang sa, this is just 6C, so that is 6Z over 2 factorial. Tapos ipapalit natin yung Z naught is equal to I. Okay, therefore, this is 6 times I over 2 factorial is just 2, wherein this is just 3I. Okay, therefore, ito yung residue, ito yung kanyang pole of order. So, this is pole of order 3. So, si I is pole of order 3, ito yung residue. So, tandaan yan. So, make sure na naalala mo yung ganyang bagay. Okay, next. So, last para dito sa video na to. So, we have sinh of Z over Z raised to 4. So, obviously, ano yung Z naught natin dyan? Ang Z naught natin, obviously, is just 0. So, wala kasi siyang something. So, this is just Z naught is just 0. Okay, why? Kasi si Z raised to 4 can be written as Z minus 0 raised to 4. So, para makita nyo, ano yung M? M is 4. So, ano yung P of Z? P of Z natin is just si sinh. Okay, since ang kukunin sinh tuloy. So, since ang kukunin natin is just the residue ng sinh of Z over Z raised to 4, comma 0. This is just equal sa P of 4 minus 1 of 0 over 4 minus 1 factorial. Okay, so again, ang tawag kay 0? Si 0 is pole of order 4. Again, si 0 is pole of order 4. Tandaan yung mga ganyang term. So, ang gagawin natin, syempre, third derivative kasi 4 minus 1. So, di-differentiate ko to ng 3 beses. And then, ang first derivative niya is cos. Then, second derivative is just sinh. Then, third derivative is just cos. So, wala kasi nagbabago ng sign doon pag hyperbolic. Okay, so meaning, evaluate natin yung cos of 0. So, this is just equal sa cos of 0 over 3 factorial. Note that cos is e raised to z plus e raised to negative z over 2. Tama? So, this is just, lagi ko lang e raised to 0 plus e raised to negative 0 over 2. Yan yung cos all over 6. Okay, e raised to 0 is 1, e raised to 0 is 1, so that is 1 half. Okay, so 1 half times 1/6, that is simply 1 over 12. So, I think that is 1 over 12. Tama ba ako ng pagkakasolve? Ang mangyayari is just, so, solve ko na. This is 1 plus 1 over 2 multiplied by 1 over 6. Okay, so therefore, this is just 1 over 6. Kasi 2 over 2 is 1. Okay, therefore, the residue at Z naught is equal to 0 is 1 over 6. So, pag ginamit ko yung pole o yung singularities na 0, which is pole of order 4, that the residue is 1 over 6. Kung gusto kunin yung integral, ang integral niya is 2 pi I times 1 over 6. Ganun kasimple. So, hoping na mas naintindihan mo sa residue, ano ibig sabihin niya. So, sorry, hindi ko agad siya naturo last time. Kasi gusto ko ipakita sa inyo paano kunin yung residue using si Laurent. Okay, so ngayon, binigyan ko na yung mas mabilis na technique. Okay, so pwede na itong gamitin actually. Okay, so thank you for watching. Hoping na panoorin mo yung next video o yung last 3 videos natin para sa complex or para sa semester na to.